we're doing some more WordPress theming, and here's my WordPress site so far. One of the things that we haven't talked about yet are thumbnails. And so in this video tutorial, I want to talk about what's called featured images. Okay, and if you look, we have a lot of different posts here, and I'm going to look at one particular post. It's just a generic post. And when I click on the full size here, what I want to do is add what's called the featured image. Now on any post or page, you can set a featured image for that particular post or page. What you do is you go into the edit mode and you click add media. You've probably seen this before. You have a thing that says insert media. You can create an image gallery like you see here, or you can set the featured image. You can even insert from a URL. When you click on the media, you can click on any given single picture. You can either insert it into the post. Let me resize this a little bit. So you can either insert that into the post, or you can set it as a featured image, or you can set it as a featured image and insert it into the post. But that's a little bit on the redundant side, in my opinion. However, depending on how you're going to deal with the featured image, you might choose to do that. What we're going to do is set the featured image. We're going to find a picture that we can either use here or upload. I'm going to use upload. And I'm going to get a new picture that I want to use. And this is going to be a featured image. Notice it's not actually a thumbnail image. When you get a picture for this, I'm going to be using some code called the thumbnail. So you might think of it as a thumbnail. But in reality, we can set it to any size we want within reason. I'm going to use some pictures right from Pixabay. You can search for images. Some of them are Shutterstock, and you would have to get the rights for it. But some of these are open-ended. So we have a couple different pictures here. I like this cupcake. I'm going to take a look at it, the WordPress cupcake. And you want to find out, in this case, it says CC 0 public domain, and it says free for commercial use, no attribution required. So what I'm going to do is get a nice size image, medium or large. I like to go large because I can always make it smaller. I just don't ever want to make it larger. And I click download. And so I got to, of course, do the capture file to get it downloaded, and then I'm going to use that in my post. And my eyesight is getting much worse. That's either a 11500 or it's a 14500. At this point, it downloaded. It's in here. And so we're good to go. So I go back to my post, and I have set featured image selected. I have upload files. And I'm just going to drag it from here and drop it right here. Downloads on here. And now this is set as a featured image. Now I could, for example, if I wanted to refer to that image's address, it shows me the URL right here. It has a title for it. If I don't like that number, I can get rid of that. And I can add other elements. I'm going to leave all this alone. And the reason why is I'm not actually going to insert that into my post. I'm just going to set it as a featured image. So once I click set as featured image, I don't see any real changes. But I have made a very significant one you're going to find in just a moment. I'm going to click update. Now, let's talk about what you can do with the featured image. The featured image, you've got different sizes here, and it's still referred to in the WordPress code as the post thumbnail. The post thumbnail has to do with featured image. Notice the description says it displays the featured image, previously called post thumbnails. Okay, so we set a featured image. It goes in the loop. And we can get the post thumbnail if we want. We can get it by its ID. We can get it by size, or we can even set attributes. Like we can set a class on it, a style, if we want to make changes to it. We want to use has post thumbnail to check for it. So let's go ahead and do it. And let's modify single.php because that was a single blog post. So I'm going to get single.php open, and we'll work with the thumbnail. So what we're going to do is let's try putting, for example, a thumbnail image after our header 2. So we need PHP for this. And so I'm going to just code it so my PHP starts and ends there. Now, here's what we got to do. We don't want to post the thumbnail if it doesn't exist. And we might want to have a default featured image if there isn't one there. We'll decide, in this case, we're only going to put it if we have one. So we have to do a check. If has post thumbnail. So if we have the post thumbnail, guess what we're going to do? The post thumbnail. Now, we're going to add a little thing here. The size. So let's take a look at the WordPress codex for just a moment. Sorry, I jumped back and forth there. What I want to point out is the post thumbnail, you can give it thumbnail size, which will be a default size of 150 by 150, no larger. Or you can give it medium resolution, it'll be 300 by 300. I like that resolution for inserting into a post, so I'm going to use medium. But you might want to get the large resolution or full resolution if you want to do something fancy with it, okay? So we're going to use medium for this. So it's the post thumbnail medium. Don't forget your semicolon at the end. So all we're going to do here right now is if we have the post thumbnail, we're just going to post it. So let's just go ahead, save our changes, and now I'm going to upload it, and then we'll see what it looks like. Now that I just uploaded it, so I want to go to my WordPress site, and I already edited the post. Let's view it, and there it is right there. New post 3, thumbnail, posted by dev. Now, I should have put the thumbnail under the posted by, and I want to wrap it. So I'll show you how to wrap that in just a moment. So I should have realized that I did not want to do it until after, but sometimes you just have to test, see what it looks like, and then make your changes. So go back here, I paste it here, I'm going to save my changes, re-upload it, we'll take a look, and then let's talk about what we can do with our styles, and we want to see how did it display that image. So when I hit refresh, notice it now is the post posted by. Let's look at the HTML. So I'm going to use the developer tool for that. And I click on the little magnifying glass and I click on the image. All right, so notice it's just an image by itself. There's no other tags around it. So if you want to add additional styles and you want to, like, for example, put it in a figure tag, then this is how you would do it. Okay? That's optional, of course. Here's the problem, though. The post thumbnail is going to insert just an image tag, but we want to surround it with a figure tag. So what we actually have to do is break the PHP tag to insert our figure tag. And we'll put class equals thumbnail or medium nail. Hey, whatever. You give it whatever class you want, okay? Or I can just call it medium dash thumbnail. There we go. And notice now I have to redo the PHP tag here, the post thumbnail. Then I have to go ahead and close it again. And then I might as well close my figure like so. And then open up the PHP tag. If you want to clean up your tag a little bit, you can do it by hitting enter, maybe tab it back, click on here, hit enter, maybe even pull that semicolon back a little bit. And then we don't need that on its own line anymore, so we can actually do it that way. So there's the code. Let's test to make sure it looks okay, and let's clean this up too, because we only need it on one line also. But there's the code, and let's try saving it and uploading it. So I go back to the page, I hit refresh, and I get my highlighter, and I click on the image, and now you see there's a figure tag with a class of medium thumbnail on it. What I can do is, remember, we already know that the medium thumbnail is a 300 maximum width. Okay, remember we went back there, 300 by 300 max. So it won't go any wider. So what we can do is we can now set the figure with a class of medium thumbnail to be 300 pixels wide, float it, and do whatever we want with it. So let's go ahead and try that out now. So I'll move this over. And we need to go to our style sheet. That is not the style sheet I'm looking for. I must move along. Yes, I'm a nerd. In case you didn't know. We'll get that. Here it is. Figure dot medium thumbnail. Technically, I didn't have to write figure before the dot. I could have just left it as medium thumbnail. Go ahead and set the width at 300 pixels. Now, we're going to float it to the right. I'm going to set a little padding. 0.5 EM. We're going to set a border. 1px, solid, almost black. We'll just do like 11, 11, 11, because this one goes to 11. I'm going to add a little left-hand margin for good measure. I like my left-hand margin to be equal with my left-hand padding, thus putting the border halfway between the text and the figure. Let's upload style.css and see how that displays. And close this for a moment. I'm going to hit refresh if I can find it. There we go. There is our thumbnail. You may want to put it a little bit lower down, in which case just add a little bit of top-hand margin on the figure. Margin top. That will display it a little bit lower. But you see how we do that. So I'll just end with the code on here. So you have the figure.medium thumbnail. Let's try taking word wrap off and then just trying to scale this over a little bit. Drag that over. So I'm going to leave you with the code right there. We're focusing on from this PHP tag down to here. Might as well back that up one. And you're good to go. So now you can start adding thumbnails. You got to remember to set it as a featured picture. You don't set a featured picture, it won't work. Make sure you always check to see if it has the post thumbnail before you actually display it. Notice I even put the figure tag in there because I don't want to have a figure tag with no image inside. The other thing is it must go inside of the loop. All right, well, good luck with that. In a later tutorial, we'll cover styling up the home page using the post thumbnail. And there's a lot of more interesting ways, things that we can do with the post thumbnail. If you have a little CSS savvy, you can do all kinds of interesting displays and uses of the thumbnail, also known as the featured image. Good luck with that.